I learned how to use Perplexity for you. So here's the Cliff Notes version to save you the hours and hours that I've spent digging into this tool, which I have realized has become one of my top 3 AI tools that I use literally multiple times a day. People usually like to describe Perplexity as like ChatGPT plus search, but it is actually so much more than that. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys the core features of Perplexity, including its intelligent search capabilities, generating pages, quizzes, even dashboards and little applications, Comet, their browser, and how to use it to automate tasks and workflows, including how to do it in combination with other tools. As per usual, it is not enough for you just to listen to me talk about stuff, so throughout this video there will be little assessments, which if you can answer these questions, then congratulations, you're educated on using a very powerful tool that is Perplexity. Now without further ado, let's go. A portion of this video is sponsored by Framer. Let's start off by answering the question, what exactly is Perplexity? Well, Perplexity defines itself as an AI-powered Swiss Army knife for information discovery and curiosity. It says, it's not just about answering questions, it's about empowering you to do more, whether you're looking to summarize content, explore new topics, or even get a little creative. Basically, it's a general AI assistant that is grounded in truth. I'll go through each feature in Perplexity in just a little bit, but first I want to give you a quick overview of the general interface. So if you go to perplexity.ai, you will be greeted with this very familiar looking prompt window. So this is very similar to anything like ChatGPT or Gemini, except that it has some specialized search functionality buttons over here, including this search button, which is for everyday questions. Here's one for deep research for any topic. And then there's also labs, which allows you to create projects from scratch. Here you can select different types of models. So Sonar is Perplexity's own model, but you can also select things like Claude, Gemini, and GPT, and Grok. This button allows you to search more specifically, whether you're looking at the web, or only academics, social, or finances. So this is all going to tie into Perplexity's specialty in search functionalities. And of course, here is your ability to connect files and to upload things. And here's the dictation and a voice mode as well. So this is all within the Home tab. And there's another tab here called the Discovery tab. And this is actually my favorite tab and what got me into Perplexity in the first place, where there is a lot of different types of news that is available. Then you have the Spaces tab. And this is very similar to ChatGPT's GPTs or projects on Claude. These are like specialized chatbots that have a specific purpose, like trip planning or website scanning. On the bottom left here, you have the install button, and this allows you to have the desktop app. They have an iOS and Android app, and Comet, which is Perplexity's own agentic browser, which is quite interesting. We'll be going over that. But that is not all. There are some things that are hidden as well. If you go under accounts here, there is personalization where you can personalize things, as well as task. Tasks allow you to pre-schedule certain simple automations. There's the notifications. Under connectors, this is where you can connect different types of applications. The WhatsApp connection is actually really cool. And finally, there's this section on APIs, which allows you to connect Perplexity with other different types of software applications that can allow you to automate more complex workflows and also build out entire full applications. All right, let's now cover everything in detail. Let's start off with Perplexity's intelligent search functionalities, which is what Perplexity is most famous for. So in this chat window, you can just type in any type of thing that you want to search. For example, I said I'll be in San Francisco on September 2nd until the 6th. What are some must-see events, seasonal experiences, or festivals during that time? Please include official links and tips for visitors. So at this point, you might be like, okay, Tina, whatever. This is like literally any type of chat window, like ChatGPT, right? But the devil is in the details. So instead of being limited by, just ChatGPT, for example, GPTs, we can actually just click any type of model. Here, I usually just leave it at the best so that Perplexity choose what's the best model. And also over here is really cool. So I want to look at the general internet, like searching the web, but in this case, I also want to turn on the discussions and opinions because I do want it to look at social media posts as sources as well. Then we're going to click. So we can see that the way that Perplexity does it is that it actually looks and does a lot of search and looks at a lot of different sources and reviews them. So everything is very grounded in truth. That is the core concept. So it was able to find a lot of these different types of information from different websites, and you can actually see like what the sources are exactly that it's been looking at. You can also see like what are the steps that it thought about, like exploring upcoming events, seasonal events, and it's like reviewing different sources. You can look through its thought process. And if we look at the answers, it says here below are some must-see events and essential visitor tips for your dates. Yerba Buena Garden Festival, okay, Oracle Park, Salesforce, and here's some featured events specifically for September 2nd until the 6th. And by the way, I actually am going to San Francisco from the 2nd until the 6th, so this is for reals. So it also gives you some related search queries like which major festivals are happening, what seasonal events are there. Let's see. Maybe I'll click which neighborhoods host the best outdoor activities and visitor tests for early September. And yeah, it's going to continue to do this and you keep questioning it. Now at this point, I actually want to go over here and actually click add to space. This would allow me to create a different space, and we can name this September trip planning. And that's because I want to save this thread over here. I'll also be adding on additional information a little bit later in the video because I'm not only going to be traveling to San Francisco, I'm actually going to San Francisco, then Vancouver, and then to New York. And I do want to stick to like a specific budget while maximizing the trip as well. So we'll go back to this. But I first want to finish demonstrating why it is that the search functionality is very powerful. Because we did include in the search that we wanted opinions and advice from people as well. That's how we're able to get relevant advice from different places like Reddit as well. Like for example, for the weather, the public transit, as well as safety. For example, avoid wandering into the Tenderloin late at night or alone from Reddit. And this is very true because I did live in San Francisco for a very long time as well. So because of this, the answers that you do get are going to be a lot more nuanced and also a lot more specific. Next up, another question that I have is what are some breakout hardware companies that I can invest in 2025? Because I'm interested in investing in hardware. Now, I don't want to just do like a simple search now. I actually want to do deep research on any topic. So I'm going to click research here. And then also for the specific sources of this search, I actually want to turn on the finance one specifically, which is searching SEC filings. Now we can click enter. Now in this deep research mode, it gives you some 3 minutes left to gather sources and create a report. And over here, I already have the notification enabled, so I can actually go and do other stuff and it's going to have a pop-up and also send me an email when this is all going to be ready. So we can let it do its thing. I do want to mention that the ability of switching between different models is actually really great bang for your buck because you are able to have access to all of these top models without having to pay a subscription to each of them independently. Also, another little tip, if you happen to be in a specific geographical location where many of the other AIs are blocked, it just so happens, and I don't know why, but Perplexity is one of the only ones that don't tend to be blocked there. So you can access it without having to use a VPN. Okay, looks like it is done. So here are the results, and there are 49 different sources that it used. And it tells us some breakout hardware companies to invest in 2025. So AI and computing infrastructure leaders, CoreWeave stands out as the most compelling public investment opportunity, having achieved a remarkable 230% stock increase since its IPO in March of 2025. By the way, this is not financial advice, not investment advice, just showing you guys Perplexity and how I like to use it. So yeah, this was from Finance, Yahoo Finance, and then it gave you some other information like Cerebras Systems, Lambda, a lot of these other ones as well. So what I would do is I would actually go and look at some of these sources as well to learn more about it. It also gives you like a little CSV file that has a little table here that you can check out. Compared to some of the other deep research, Perplexity's deep research tends to be a lot more grounded in truth because everything is cited, and it also has a lot less hallucinations that you may still run into when you're using other AIs. If you click on assets, it shows you the code that I did in order to come up with this table here, the steps, and you can also see some of the images that was in the sources that you may want to check out. So what I can do here is I can add this as another space if I want to continue having this conversation and asking follow-ups. I can also do something called convert to page. So this is a functionality that allows you to put that information in a much nicer format. And there you have it. Wonderful. So beautiful. And you can actually add different sections as well. Like maybe you want to add a section on space, hardware, and manufacturing. We can say like you want a concise, detailed, a lot of different options here. You can also pick something that has both picture and text. So it would actually add on to this. This is really, really cool and just so simple to use. While it's doing that, you can add some media. You can either like upload an image where you can generate some images, different styles, like a diagram about different hardware companies. See what I mean when I say like there's a lot of like little things, like little buttons and little layers of that onion that you can just start peeling off. There's like more and more things in Perplexity that you can actually do, which at first glance you wouldn't realize. And there you go, you have a picture over here. You also have a new section about space hardware manufacturer. You can edit these as well, like you can edit the headers if you want. You can actually edit the text as well. Yeah, do whatever you want to do. And at the end, what you can do is that you can preview this and then you can actually publish it. Then you can copy the link here and you can actually send it to other people with this report about different things. So handy, right? If people who are writing blog articles are not using Perplexity in this way, yeah, they should really jump on this. Yeah, this is a really powerful feature. You can also do other things like create it into a task, which we'll talk about later, export as a PDF, as a markdown format, as a document as well. So a lot of different things you can do. Next up, also still on the search functionalities, I want to show you guys the labs abilities for Perplexity. So the query that I have here is analyze my YouTube channel, and I pasted my own YouTube channel, and identify patterns and trends that perform well. So let's let it do its thing. And we have notifications enabled and we can come back in 8 minutes. While in the meantime, I want to show you guys the Discover tab. As I said earlier, the Discover tab was actually like my first introduction to Perplexity and the reason why I wanted to start using it, because it has this For You tab that is like this personalized news creation. So for me, I've been using this for a while, and on my like Discover tab is pretty much things about like tech and AI and like things about space. Mostly that kind of stuff. There's also some specific market outlook things, and you can actually add like specific companies or specific topics that you're interested in by going to your accounts, going to personalization, and then adding like specific stocks that you're interested in, or like sports if you're interested in sports. Yeah, you can play around this. You can enter your location as well. I don't really do that. And you can also introduce yourself. I find that like putting in the personalization part, at least for me, like I don't think it matters that much. I haven't, but some people do like to do that. So definitely feel free to play around with the personalization as well. Anyways, I really like the Discover tab, and I usually actually use it on my phone. So there is the mobile version of Perplexity as well. As you can see here, it's the same thing. And what I would do is I would click into something, and there would be a summary over here and additional information about that with all its sources being cited. What I really love about Perplexity, like reading the news in this way as opposed to any other way, is that it compiles together a lot of different sources to give you that summary and that information. So you don't have the problem of reading a certain article and then having to think about, oh, like, is this actually a good source? Like, is there like certain biases going into it because it's like a left-leaning news outlet versus a right-leaning one versus like some other agendas that are there. It literally compiles all the information from the different sources together, so you have this much more comprehensive and unbiased understanding of what's happening. And if you want, you can actually click into the individual sources and learn more about it. For example, looking into like India Today about Nano Banana AI photo editor, for example. Then you can ask it a follow-up question. Let's actually use the audio function, dictation function here. How is this relevant to people who like to use AI? Click search, and it would give you the answer to this. Gemini 2.5 Flash image is highly relevant to people who like to use AI because it enables fast, high-quality character, consistent image editing, and generation through simple text prompts. This actually is very relevant. So creative freedom, accessibility, character consistency, reliability. This was like a really big one. Speed and iterative editing, etc., etc., etc. And then you also have like a lot of related information that you can ask as well. Like for example, synth ID watermarking matters for people who make AI images. So how do we tell between images, normal images, real life images, and AI images? So yeah, you can just keep on going into this and just digging more and more into this. I've gone into like a lot of rabbit holes, starting off from just like a news article and then digging deeper into the specifics about it. Love this functionality, and a really big part of how I keep up with the AI industry and like different topics. All right, it looks like we are done analyzing my YouTube channel using Labs. So let's see what it has here. Analysis of Tina Huang's YouTube channel, performance patterns, optimization strategies. So it says, my channel operates in the highly competitive educational technology space, specifically targeting career-focused professionals and self-learners. The channel's unique positioning as content created by an ex-Meta data scientist turns into internet person provides significant credibility advantages in an increasingly crowded market. Good, I am glad. Yeah, so it says here it's listing out like personal experience format dominance, and it's telling me time commitment strategy excellence. So distinctive pattern emerged in channels use of explicit time commitments in video titles. A strategy that significantly outperforms content without clear time boundaries. Videos featuring time commitments. Example, financial literacy in 63 minutes, AI agent fundamentals in 21 minutes. This is actually very true. Very much a strategy that I employ. And it says averages 0.78 million views compared to 0.45 million for videos without time specifications. Yes, etc, etc. So it goes on with a lot more, honestly, really good analysis that's here. Really good analysis. If you compare this to something like Claude, for example, Claude is also able to do a lot of these analysis, but it's not as good as actually getting the correct sources. So with something like Claude, you would need to provide it with that information, like as a database, or ask it to like look into specific things. But with Perplexity, it's able to like go and search these itself and then do the analysis on top of that as well. It would also enrich it with other sources. Like for example, it would say like technical optimization SEO performance. It should include like keyword rich beginnings. Placing target keywords at the state of titles increases search visibility by 35%. It would actually go and look at other sources to enrich what it has figured out in its analysis. So yes, we have a lot of information here, etc, etc. So what is special about using labs is that it's not just like deep research or search where you're just gathering that information. There's actually more like analysis that goes into it. It's about execution as well. For example, I can then ask it a follow-up like saying, convert this information into an interactive dashboard. So 11 minutes left to gather sources. So we will come back to this. In the meantime, I actually just got takeout for Korean food. So I'm gonna eat in 11 minutes and come back to this. My banchans. And my LA galbi beef. This is not a mukbang, so I'm gonna eat and get back to this. Okay, I am done eating. And Perplexity is done! Yay! We have an interactive YouTube channel analytics dashboard, so let's check it out. View full screen, and it says Tina Huang, ex-Meta data scientist turned internet person. That is indeed correct. And it has overview, like information over here, channel summary. Philosophy is minimize effort and maximize outcome. That is true. This is genuinely very impressive. Content evolution. 2020 and 2022 is coding and data science. 2023 is transition period, and 2024 and 2025 is AI dominance. I really appreciate how they put transition period as opposed to existential crisis, not knowing what to do. Wonderful. Transition period. Okay, top performing videos, performance analytics. Yeah, this is really cool. All right, content patterns. So high performing format. So how-to tutorials, time-bounded learning. Yes, course summarizations and practical applications. This is, yep. Wow. Okay. So I spent a lot of time analyzing my own channel. So yeah, like these are really accurate. Okay, so some recommendations here: double down on how I do certain things, expanding AI tool tutorials, implementing consistent time commitment titles, career transition series. Never really like thought about that one as much these days. Leverage more meta learning skills. Okay, I haven't really thought about these two, but I am very much doing these three. Yeah, this is very impressive. You guys should try it out. So what you can do by using the labs functionality over here, you can actually also use it to create like mini apps and things like that. I would say it's definitely not as good as like something that's more specific to creating apps, but the key thing here is that because it's so grounded in sources and truth, whatever it is that you create is going to be like much more accurate, and there's a lot more insights that will be available. So that is very much the Perplexity advantage. If you ever wanted to launch a beautiful website or a sleek marketing campaign but don't want to deal with code war developers, let me introduce you to Framer, our team's current favorite website builder. Okay, You might be thinking like, oh my god, Tina, it's like another website builder. There are so many website builders. But seriously, bear with me. Framer feels like actually using a design tool, but what you create is a real production ready site. Let me actually show you. This here is a new project. We can get started first by clicking on Rio Framer. And I'm gonna click teaser here because I want to build a landing page that can capture signups for my upcoming software that we're building to learn AI skills. So I'm gonna say create a simple teaser page where I can capture signups for my upcoming mobile app for learning AI skills. My app is called Octopi Friends. And then we can get started. Okay, so we have something show up here, and you can see that it generates the desktop, the tablet, as well as the phone view. There's just a massive amount of flexibility and control that you have. Like under the effects tab, like say under here, you can like rearrange things. You can actually rotate it however it is that you like. You can also have it like appear with different effects as well. There's so much control that's within Framer. It also has great collaboration abilities, like you can invite people into your workspace and you can add comments, very similar to Figma, like change this color scheme. Framer also isn't just a pretty design tool. It also has built-in CMS, SEO analytics, and one-click localization. So you can do things like A/B test headlines, translate your whole site into multiple languages. And when you're ready to go live, all it takes is one click. This is our work in progress landing page for a new product that we're building. I also want to show you guys some of the websites that other people have built. Like this one is from Superhuman. This is the website all built using Framer. This is from Zapier. Look how cool this is. Mars Rejects, very cool. And finally from Dribble. These look like they were coded by developers, but nope, all built visually. So if you're ready to build a website that looks developer made but isn't, you can get started for free at framer.link/Tina Huang. And you can use my code, all caps Tina Huang, for 25% off your first 3 months. Link also in description. Thank you so much Framer for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now back to the video. So next tab is spaces. There are a lot of different templates that are already here. So very similar to GPTs on ChatGPT. You can choose something that you like stock screener. Ask questions about stocks in S&P 500, the largest 5,000 US traded stocks, in India traded stocks updates weekly. So you can see, I can ask a question like, what are some AI stocks that are not doing well these days from the S&P 500? Okay, there you go. So Intel, IBM, Google, etc, etc. Okay, yes. So it will give us some of this information that we can keep continuing on. What's pretty cool is that you have your threads that are here, but there's also shared threads. So you can see what other people are looking at using this space as well, which is kind of cool. It's like inspo, you know? So you can also use this template and then you can like tweak it yourself. Like for example, all this really is that it's tweaking like the instructions over here. So you're just giving it like custom system prompt over here. By the way, if you want to like learn more about prompting and stuff, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I do have a video which I'll link over here that can get you well on your way to prompting much better. So going back to the September trip planning, so we had that conversation earlier about being in San Francisco from September 2nd until 6th. And I might want to like add on some more stuff because actually I will be visiting Vancouver from 6th until 12th. Please help me find some places that I can drive to where there is a lot of nature. I don't want to spend more than $500 on everything, not including housing. And we can have that search as well. Okay, cool. So it's telling me I should basically just be in nature because it's cheap and look at the wildlife and bird watching and scenic beaches. Very nice. So yeah, you can like continue the thread and then it's able to very conveniently store that information here as well. And if you do want to make your own like more custom space, you can add specific instructions. Like the system prompt that we talked about earlier that you can also share with other people. There's a lot that you can do, but I do not want to make this video like an hour long because I really could. There's just like so much that you can do in Perplexity and it's so useful. But I do want to show you guys some of the most useful things that are in Perplexity. And the next one is going to be task. It's kind of hidden here. But the task is able to allow you to automate like certain simple routines and workflows. See, for example, the one that I have over here is that at a scheduled time, which is daily at 7 a.m., I have a query that analyzes the week's most significant technology developments, focusing on AI and ML breakthroughs and major tech company strategic moves, and also emerging tech trends and their potential impact. So you can like click the mode, the model, the sources, and you can also choose to get like the kind of notifications. So I got the email and the mobile notifications, and this is on. So every day at 7 a.m. I actually do get an email about all of this, which I will show you. Looks like this. So Perplexity task, and at 7:01 a.m. It sends me an email about all this information, and you can also look at the full response of it. You can click through it if you want. So that is really cool, and there's actually a lot of different types of automations and tasks that you can have as well. Now, time for a little assessment. Please put your answers in the comments below to make sure that you're still following along and paying attention. I'm sure you can think of a lot of other custom scheduled tasks that you can automatically receive in your inbox every day or multiple times a day. So this is actually really, really powerful and useful. Now I want to show you guys the connectors tab. So in the connectors, you have your Google Drive, your Dropbox, and WhatsApp. So this is like allowing you to connect third-party applications. So if you're connecting Google Drive, you're able to search results that are included in your Google Drive. Same with Dropbox. So what I think is actually really cool though is WhatsApp. So when you're connecting WhatsApp, you're able to have a conversation with Perplexity through WhatsApp directly. So here I'm asking you to set up a task to message me with summary every day for tech news instead of email. So I wanted to get like a WhatsApp summary instead of checking my email, and it was able to do this, and it sends me my daily tech news through WhatsApp as well. I did also ask it, I asked like, are these conversations we're having on WhatsApp recorded on the Perplexity app? And it said, nope, our WhatsApp chats aren't recorded. We're stored on the Perplexity app itself. They're just between you and me here. Your privacy is safe. So that's pretty interesting. And it doesn't actually show up, like conversations you do have on WhatsApp, it doesn't actually show up on the Perplexity app. So I guess you can, I don't know, converse with Perplexity here as well. Although Perplexity does have an incognito mode too. So you can also, it's fine if you do it on the app as well. Do really like the WhatsApp integration though. Okay, so moving forward, there are still two things that I want to show you, but these two things are going to be ones that do cost money. So I thought this was a nice place for me to talk about Perplexity's pricing tier. So on the free tier, everything that you've seen previously, you can already do on the free tier, although you are limited to the number of searches and the number of like lab searches and number of deep research searches that you have. So specifically, you do get unlimited general search queries, but you only get 3 pro search queries. So this would be things like deep research and things that are a little bit more complex. But if you do get the pro tier, which is $20 a month, and which is what I have over here, you get 10x as many citations and answers. So it's going to be more accurate, more comprehensive. Access to Comet Browser, which is what we're going to be talking about in just a bit. Access to Perplexity Labs. Sorry, I actually lied about this. You do not get access to Perplexity Labs on the free tier. I guess you only get it on the pro tier. But yeah, unlimited files and photo uploads, extended access to a lot of things, image generation, etc, etc. So this is the pro plan, and on the max plan, which is $200 per month, you get like way more things, and you get early access, unlimited access to things, and then very like advanced models and enhanced access to video generation. So I do think that in most cases the pro tier is already really good if you do want to pay for it. So the other thing is that I don't think it lists here specifically, but if you do want API access, which is what you need in order to make more complex automated workflows and using like third-party tools, you can do like pay as you go. There is that option, but if you're going to be doing that, you might as well just get the pro tier, because if you do get the pro tier, you get $5 worth of credits. So it is very worth it if you're going to be using their API. They also have like an Enterprise Pro, which has a lot of other things, and it just allows you to collaborate a lot better and dedicated enterprise support, as well as more security compliance, things like that. Cool. Let's now talk about Comet. So when Comet first came out, I was feeling very skeptical because I was like, so you want me to switch from Chrome to an AI browser? Okay, interesting. So I'm like, you know what? Open mind. So I did test it out, and I do think it actually is very, very interesting. I think they made that decision because they're basically like a search company, right? Like that's like the thing that's like their core thesis, is being grounded in sources, truth, and search. So from that angle, it does make sense why Perplexity would want to have like an AI native browser. So it does make a lot of sense. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. So what it looks like is you have this browser over here, and then you also have the assistant that you can like do stuff and type things on the side. So Comet can actually do a lot of things for you. It can buy things for you, it can like search things up, it can like refresh the page, it can answer emails, it can do like a lot, right? But I just want to make a note here. This is okay, I just want to say this is my personal opinion, so take this with, you know, however it is that you like. I personally do not use all of these functionalities. In particular, I do not let Comet have access to my personal information, including my credit cards and my login information, because there have already been issues with Comet when it comes to security. There have been security leakages. For example, people have used prompt injections on web pages, which then the assistant would have taken as like a system prompt, and it would do stuff like reveal passwords, for example, or credit card information. So that's why I don't trust it completely yet. But there are two major use cases that I do like using Comet for. The first one is, say I'm like watching some YouTube video, for example, boring history for sleep, why you wouldn't last a day in medieval times and more, and this is like 2 hours long, right? I can do things like summarize this video through the assistant directly, and I can ask it like specific questions like, which timestamp do they talk about rats? And then it would be able to tell me. Discusses rats and rat-infested huts as part of the uncomfortable realities of medieval living. Give me the exact timestamp in the video. So the first mention of rats is at timestamp 7 minutes and 54 seconds.
Breakfast doesn't energize you. It just happens to you. And now that you're properly underfed, it's time to work like your life depends on it, because it absolutely does. So, you've eaten your sad medieval breakfast, and now it's time to get dressed. Not that it'll help.
Well, that didn't really actually work. That's an example of it not working. Let's try 2353.
Ingredients that's been simmering since your great-grandfather's funeral. Fruit might be available in the fall, but it rots quickly.
Alright, well, that didn't work, but I'm leaving this part in the video because I just want you to actually see what it actually is like, truthfully speaking. But it has worked for me quite well actually, so I'm not really sure what's going on here in other situations when I would do this. Anyways, yeah, so you can like ask it to summarize like specific things about the video. You can also like ask it questions about the video as well. Also works with like any type of content that's there, like asking it to summarize it directly from within the browser. Another use case that I do like to do with Comet is asking it to try out different discount codes for something. So I would just ask it to like run through and try out a bunch of different discount codes until I find the correct discount code when I want to buy something. But I wouldn't actually buy it through Comet because I don't want to like, you know, have it access to my credit card and stuff. So I would actually do it through Chrome and then buy it with that specific discount code. I think there's a lot of potential for Comet, and I definitely see the vision of Perplexity. But as of now, this is the extent that I would use Comet for. Let me know in the comments what you think about Comet. Like, is it something that you would use right now? And if you do, how much information would you be willing to share with Comet? The final thing I want to talk about in this video is the Perplexity API. So an API key is what you need in order to connect Perplexity with other third-party software. This is commonly done if you want to create more complex workflows and applications. A very common use case would be using it in combination with N8N, which is for automating complex workflows. I have built many different workflows that have Perplexity as part of it, taking advantage of Perplexity's ability to do AI intelligent searches. An example of this is this workflow over here that is able to take a search query, put it into Perplexity, get a summary about the news and research surrounding that specific search query, turn it into a podcast, and then send myself an email with that podcast attached, and then I can listen to that podcast at like 2 times, 3 times speed when I'm walking around. And that is how I learn things very, very quickly. I am very much an audio learner. If you do want to actually learn how to make this specific workflow, you can actually check out this video I have over here, which I actually walk you through the exact steps of creating this workflow that has Perplexity as part of it. Not going to go into too much more detail about this, but I do want to say that Perplexity's API is really good, and it's a very, very useful addition to anything that you're building that involves having to do any search queries. All right, we're at the end of this video, and I hope you learned a lot about Perplexity. As promised, here is a final little assessment. Please answer these questions in the comments below to make sure you have retained all of the information that we have talked about today. Now, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video or live stream.